Now move on to open forum.
Betty Robinson.
Betty Robinson, 3236 Grafton Road. I'm here concerning the issue regarding the interchange at Brunswick, at Boston. I'm here to thank first the council members for stepping up, for showing up, for supporting us. We've never been through anything like this, and even though I'm on Grafton, I'm hoping that if anything ever comes to Grafton, that my Boston friends behind me will repay me in kind. I'd like to support them, and I appreciate that you show up and support them too. Some of these folks have been in their homes for many years. I personally have been in mine for 25. My husband's been in his for 39. It's hard to consider watching your home be destroyed at the sake of somebody spending 15 or 20 minutes less on the highway. I've never done anything like this. I'm sure many of the people behind me have not done anything like this as well. And I'm hoping that we can form a group that will help you help us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
James Evanoff.
James Evanoff, 3649 Ascot Drive. First, I just want to say to all the voters and everybody who went out, thank you for voting for issue 7. It was much needed. Fire department will have a safe, healthy environment to work in, and it's also going to increase our response times, making everybody else safer. So anybody who went out and voted yes for it, thank you for that. The other thing I want to talk about is the freeway interchange, which I've been up here several times. I've been to Strongsville several times, and let's just call it what it is. City of Brunswick's listening to the residents. They're listening to reason. Strongsville's just doing what they want because that's what they want to do. They have an agenda. They won't listen to reason on anything. There's been multiple solutions that have been presented to them, and every time there is one, what do? They turn it down. Why? Because their ultimate agenda is to put a freeway interchange at Boston Road. That is their agenda. The slip ramp project, Howe Road, they said too many people opposed it. They didn't want it. Putting in a roundabout on Howe Road to help ease some of the traffic congestion there, they tabled it. Said, no, we're not going to do it after they spent a bunch of money studying it. They put in some money and take some state money for a state grant to study traffic, but they're not studying traffic and whether or not it would work doing Drake Road. Their sole focus is Boston Road. Why? Because they have an agenda. Even asked them, said, hey, have you ever thought about even reworking some of your city contracts with the garbage trucks even? Saying, hey, you know, maybe you shouldn't have Republic Services collecting trash on a busy road during rush hour and put in your city contract. You can't do it. And if not, we're going to fine you out of the money that we're paying in the contract. Because that way it'll actually give them some incentive to make sure they live up to the deal. Saying, hey, during rush hour you shouldn't be on a busy road. Have they approached the Postal Service about saying, hey, can we do something to make sure postal trucks aren't on Howe Road during rush hour? No. Why? Because their ultimate agenda is making sure that road is congested so that way they can put a freeway entrance there. I asked them, I said, would you commit to right now never and actually do resolution, doing city ordinance saying you cannot connect your industrial parkway to Boston Road? And 2 city council members in Strongsville smirked and laughed at me about it. That tells you what their ultimate agenda is. They want to turn it into a full-blown commercial corridor. And by the way, all the traffic safety improvements that are going to have to go to that road, we're going to get stuck with half the bill. And projects like a new centralized fire station and buying new fire equipment and police cars and staffing there and snow removal and street repair, it's going to be unaffordable for us because of Strongsville's agenda. I appreciate City Council's approach that they've been taking on this. They've been listening to the residents, and they being opposed to this project. I'm opposed to it, and I live on the south end of the city. I'm not going to see the increased traffic that the north end of the city is. I'm opposed to this because of what it's going to do to our city budget and our city services. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nancy Fragnowski.
Good evening, Nancy Fragnowski, 465 Pembroke Cove, Brunswick, of course. I too have been attending the Strongsville Council meetings and a couple of these, and as the first woman said, getting up here and doing all this is new for me too, but I feel so strongly about this interchange being put in that I think we all need to get up and speak. Much of what I have to say are questions, and I realize I can't get feedback right now. But I am wondering if, when Strongsville gets the results of their study, if that will be shared with Brunswick City Council or the residents of Brunswick, how that goes about being knowledge, what they have found out. I'm also curious about the jet fuel line that, again, I just don't hear a lot about, and my understanding, as we've talked before, is that this runs alongside Boston Road. To move it, to do anything to it, to me seems like a huge risk, and a safety risk also, which Strongsville is continually saying that, you know, they want to put this interchange in for the sake of safety of Strongsville residents and people that use Howe Road. I don't see how doing anything with this jet fuel line is a safe thing to even think about. I'm wondering if there's any actions that we can take or that council is or can take to get this out of the bill, in addition to maybe what's already being done that I'm sure I'm not aware of all of that. I know there are many residents that are writing letters, making phone calls. You see that on Facebook, and I think that's great. There was a suggestion if we could get every resident to do one thing once a week, you know, that would be a really a strong showing for people opposing this. I think that's a great idea. And then I'd also like to know if it is possible to include in the newsletter that comes out with the sewer bill some of the detriments of putting an interchange in. And as someone else said tonight about, you know, people in Brunswick being for this because it would save them a few minutes driving time, those of us that live in the area and actually the whole city of Brunswick will suffer once this is put in, if it gets that far. And I'm just wondering if something like that could be put in that sewer bill mailing, just to show the detriments to the whole city, just besides this interchange in that particular area. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kathy Ruther.
Hello, Kathy Ruther, 3456 Woodstock Lane. Honestly, the last three people, the residents, they said exactly what I was going to say. I was actually going to hit pretty much everything very quickly and shortly, but they did it for me. But I'm completely against this interchange. I would be by Woodstock and Grafton, or I'm sorry, North Carpenter and Grafton, and I just wonder how that's going to affect us as well. And I most wholeheartedly feel for the people that might lose their homes or will lose their homes over this. And, you know, people build their lives, and they work so hard for that when Strongsville can easily put it somewhere by Shermer or restructure their area somehow. I mean, the mall's already going down in business. We all know that. We've all shopped at Strongsville Mall. I don't see it being around, honestly, very much longer the way it's going. Have they looked into that? Have we gotten numbers on that to see where they're at? If that goes down, is there going to be that much traffic? And I don't see it being a good decision on disrupting our city and our residents. So that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shri Cullums.
I'm Sharia Kellums, it's 3450 Boston Road. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to say that I've been going to the Strongsville Council meetings too, and I've talked to a couple of them, and the one admitted to me that it's not going to save anybody any time. It's just to get the traffic off of 82. And then we had another one that approached us at the end of the meeting last week, and he was being a big troublemaker, starting trouble, trying to say that Brunswick wants this, that it was in the 2020 plans, they want this. And we all told him, no, that's not true, you're lying. So I went home the next day and looked it all over and wrote him and told him that he needs to fact check before he does this, that he was lying, and he wrote some nasty stuff to me. They're just spreading rumors saying that you guys want this. I don't know how we can get them to stop doing that, but I just wanted to share it with you all. And thank you for everything you're doing.
Jeff Molden.
Good evening. Jeff Molden, 3218 Hartwick Circle. I live in Waite Farms in Brunswick. Thank you for having me tonight. I echo what everyone says. I'll go over my story for you all. I was at the Strongsville meeting last week, and two things I realized, and I communicated to everyone. Number one, they have a alternate agenda, and number two, they don't care if you have Brunswick behind your name, what we say. I still want to keep going. I want to be a thorn in their side, but they don't care. They have the agenda to create one huge industrial parkway that will work through Boston Road, okay? I moved here in 2009 into Waite Farms. I could have gone anywhere. I used to live in Strongsville. I could have gone anywhere, and I picked Brunswick, okay? And I've been very, very happy. My wife loves the area. But this will destroy the northern half of your city, of our city. And if we don't do something about it, it will happen. There will be families in our neighborhood, families in other neighborhoods, young families, people that voted to get that high school that I voted for, that'll be leaving town because they don't want to have a gas station or a Target at the end of their street. Maybe I'm exaggerating with the Target, but a bunch of fast food restaurants and a gas station at the end of their street. Nothing against Parma, but this is not Parma. That's what happened to Parma, and that's why people were moving south. And I do not want that to be the place where I raise my kids. I have a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 6-year-old. I'm excited for them to go to the middle school. I'm excited for them. They have tons of friends. I'm excited for them to go to the high school. But they won't be a part of it if this goes through. And a lot of families like me will feel the same way. Okay? They do. I'm trying to mobilize my neighborhood on our local page. The thing about it is there's apathy. There is apathy. There's wanting other people to do it, sitting on your hands thinking someone else is going to take care of the problem. And I'm trying to motivate people in my neighborhood to get them going. Will we lose our house? No, we won't. But we'll lose our neighborhood. It won't be the same. And that's something I've put so much money into my house, and so have my neighbors, and I know all of these people have as well. And I guess I'm imploring you, whatever we have to do to make this not happen, let's do it, okay? Let's do it. The people that were in your position last Monday night looked down on all of us, and they look down on you. They think because they're from Strongsville, they're better than us, okay? They think, yeah, Brunswick, okay, you're our little brother. And that's not the case. Maybe that was the case a long time ago, but that's not the case now. And if they are able to push it through, if this one issue they're able to push through, this one off-ramp and on-ramp, what's the next thing they're going to do? They're going to think, okay, the people of Brunswick, we can walk all over them. We can turn Boston Road into an interchange and into a commercial corridor. That's BS because we're going to pay our half and we're not going to get anything out of it, and you're ruining neighborhoods and lives. Okay, so I guess if this goes through, you better build up the south half of the city because the north half will be destroyed. I thank you for your time, and I'll be back in 2 weeks, I guess.
There's no further.
That concludes open forum. We'll now move on to unfinished business. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As a point of order, real briefly, I'm guessing that myself and other council people will probably want to make at least some comments about the interchange. Do we want to do that first, or under unfinished business, or do you want me to?
We can do it now.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to say something briefly now, and then I figure a few people want to say something. But I want to make it very clear. I've talked to many of you. I've heard from many residents through all this time. I want to be very clear about a few things. We're firmly in opposition to this. There's no secret play. There's no secret agenda. This is bad for Brunswick. This is horrible for this city. This is horrible financially for this city. This is horrible structurally for this city. There is nothing good that comes of this, and we're listening to you and we're behind you. And I wish I could tell you this is a tomorrow solution, but this is going to take constant pressure. This is going to take constant work, and we're going to have to work together, all of us together, to stop this. And it's not just Brunswick. To be clear, this is the worst kind of government. This is the government that nightmares are made of. And if it's going to happen to Brunswick, it's going to happen to suburbs throughout this state. Neighborhoods are going to be destroyed. Neighborhoods are going to be ruined. Communities are going to be ruined because of the decisions, a bad government decision that no one was looking or thinking through. And we're going to fight this because it's important, because you matter, because Brunswick matters. I want to be very clear about this. And if anybody's watching this from Strongs and wants to say otherwise, you are wrong, you are lying, we are against this. Thank you.
Councilman Bassano.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I'm proud of every one of you for standing up and being courageous to speak your mind for people who are maybe not speaking right now. Perhaps when the enemy comes over the wall, they pick up a gun and start fighting back too. Some of the people that have to fight back, of course, are on the other side of Boston Road, the ones who also will have their lives disrupted, changed. And somebody living in Waite Farms, well, you know, by the time Waite Farms got built, that pretty much put the nail in the coffin because it's over-residentialized. It's not a practical solution. The fact is that if anybody in Strongsville thinks they're better than us, they're not smarter. We are. They're wrong, and this was an oath. It was clumsy for them to go the way they went. And let's get some facts straight, because I had a resident who told me what council said earlier at another meeting. They referenced the 2005 comprehensive plan. That plan was in the works from 2003, contracted based on a late 90s ramp up of agreements that were at that time in place between Brunswick and the city of Strongsville. I joined council in 2003. I learned the scope of work and what would entail, and the practicality went right out the window. The funny thing is, the city of Strongsville, along with the city of Brunswick, in 2012, at the request of NOACA, the ODOT agent for this region, asked if we would give up our interest in an interchange because they needed the money for the I-90 overpass bridges in Cleveland. And both cities agreed they did not have the funds to move forward and had no interest in doing so in 2012. A few years later, they attempted to try and create a slip ramp through the old mayor's property at Shermer Road and Howe. The outcry from their own neighbors prevented them from moving forward. They never bothered to even look at Drake Road, which I guarantee, if the study was to look at Drake Road in conjunction with what it would take to create an actual corridor and interchange feasibility at Boston, it's a lot cheaper, it's less impactful, there's not as much issues with land pickup, and it terminates to the west at their own industrial park, which is their ultimate goal. They think we're blind. They think that we are not capable of handling this kind of a challenge. I promise you, we are. It's a little bit of a road to go, but we are ready for it because we're smarter. They actually thought we weren't ready for it. Think about it. if they put an interchange where they have enough money, they can widen Howe Road. And all the postal trucks and Amazon trucks and UPS trucks that are actually causing the traffic slowdown during rush hour wouldn't be as big a problem, would it? But why use common sense when you can be a bully? And that's their attitude. It's shameful. And if you're from Strongsville, you should be ashamed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Del Sante. Anyone else? Mr. Vice Mayor, any further new business?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's a liquor permit request under unfinished business for Sharpen Skills Training LLC at 964 Pearl Road, Brunswick, Ohio, 44212. Defer to the administration.
Microphone on. Hello. The law department is requesting that City Council object to the issuance of this new permit at 964 Pearl Road. It's adjacent to, well, it's in St. Ambrose Parish, and it's where the preschool is located. And Ohio law does preclude the issuance of a liquor permit in close proximity to a school. So based on, again, Ohio law and the fact that the Ambrose Parish preschool is in 964 Pearl Road, law department's requesting that the City Council object to the issuance of this license.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
Could I just ask a couple questions, just briefly? This is the building across the street from St. Ambrose, and an objection or a motion to object from council would then put the issue in front of the state of Ohio. Is that my understanding?
It would be up to the Department of Liquor Control.
Okay.
And again, would there be a hearing? That again would be up to the Department of Liquor Control. But under Ohio